You're talking about 3 or 4 clubs. I think some optimistic Manchester United fans were trying to count themselves in after those 3 victories in a row. That run ended yesterday at the City Ground. It was a draw against Nottingham Forest. The Sun on Sunday, their headline is Dyche fights his corner. A very, very unhappy Sean Dyche. Carl Anka, you were at the City Ground. Can you understand his anger? Because there was a bit of controversy about Manchester United's opening goal. Not the goal itself, but the awarding of the corner that led to it.
Yes, so Savona is on the goal line, byline, however you want to describe it. And it did not look as if the ball had totally crossed the line in its entirety, and yet United were awarded a corner kick.
So see it now.
There's the incident. Does the ball totally cross the line? The linesman, who is, I want to say, the better part of 70 yards on the other side, believes it totally crossed and therefore awarded the corner. And the corner is a very simple Bruno Fernandes in-swinger to the head of Casemiro. United 1 goal up. This is not the first time Nottingham Forest have reason to be aggrieved over a corner that shouldn't have been awarded. Sean Dyche himself said, obviously they should have dealt with the next situation.
There we go. That's the.
Dyche admits himself that the team should have dealt with the next situation, which is defend the corner properly. But there is some tension there. VAR cannot overturn or interfere with situations like this, and Sean Dyche may have suggested that there should be changes there, which I think is quite interesting, because obviously, at least for my part, when I'm in a football ground and I'm listening to football fans, they want less VAR and less VAR intervention.
Yeah.
Until something like this happens, and then they go, I wish we had VAR to re-legislate things. So
the point is, isn't it? The corner's given. Deal with the corner. Mm-hmm. Just deal with the corner. And it's a pretty. I think knowing him, he'll be more enraged about how simple it was of a goal than. I think that's come out in the VAR's got the backlash for not having a go at his players.
It's quite unusual, though, when the corner was awarded, to see that many fans, obviously in the Trent end, a huge number of supporters actually just get off their seats and just, gesticulate towards the linesman that you're wrong. And then, of course, when they scored, they all got up again, the whole stand, and gave various signals towards the officials. So everyone around there could see that it was the wrong decision.
Just on United now, the Sunday Telegraph says Diallo wonder strike rescues a point to reward Amorim faith. There was not a 4th consecutive Premier League victory for Amorim to mark his first anniversary. We shouldn't forget 1 year yesterday when he got appointed. But there was progress of a kind. This was the first point United had claimed from falling behind since the game away to Bournemouth in late April. So with 3 steps forward, you could say. Carl, what does yesterday's draw represent? Half a step back, or just staying where they were?
Maybe you've dented morale, but it's not been derailed entirely. Amorim in his post-match press conference said that the team had the feeling of maybe they couldn't win the game, but they definitely knew how to not lose the game. And he was asked about, if this was played last season, do you think you would have lost? And I think that's a fair assessment of this Manchester United team. They are still prone to the same weaknesses and fragilities that we've seen, not just under Amorim last season, but also under Ten Hag. So when they are prone to conceding punches and bunches, to use the old verbiage. So it's not, they don't just concede 1 goal, but they can concede 2 or 3 in 5 minutes. So they go from 1-0 up to 2-1 down in the space of, I want to say, 5 minutes in the start of the second half. But the good thing now is, through this sort of newly refurbished attacking line and a team that is getting more acclimatised to what Amorim wants, they are finding ways to score extra goals. So the attack is good enough to bail out any mistakes the defence makes, shall we say.
Dom, depending on what happens to Manchester United on a certain weekend in the Premier League, it's either Amorim in crisis or Manchester United and Amorim have turned a corner. This one feels like, for the first time in weeks, we're just here. A bit of stability, maybe, dare I say it?
Yeah, it'd be nice, because I think when I was on last month, I was talking, I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for the sort of magnitude of focus that's been on him, everything that he's dealing with. He's still a young man dealing with the biggest club in the world. If you want to say that, and all the problems that have been behind the scenes and everything that he's trying to change. 3 wins and a draw's a steady little run of form. Get another couple of wins on top of that, and you're starting to get somewhere. I thought it was interesting to say that he listened to him say yesterday that he thinks the players are sort of buying into him more now, which, when you go back to what was said in after they lost in Grimsby, when he thought the dressing room had gone on him.
Spoke really loud.
Yeah, I really didn't like that. I thought that said a lot about the dressing room. I really didn't like the sort of how the dressing room was painted in that sort of situation. There's, like, I don't like this idea that players can just decide the manager's not for them and stuff. You know, not give it their all. I'd like to see him do well. There's been too much turmoil at Manchester United. There's been too much flux. They need a nice bit of stability.
Charlie, the Sunday Telegraph also says that Amorim had brushed away questions regarding potential Champions League qualification before the game. And they said, and he's right not to get carried away. However, aside of Arsenal just now, who we've been talking about, who seem to be running away with it and seem to be very, very consistent, there doesn't seem to be very much consistency amongst the other teams. Now, United seem to be in this unique situation at the moment where there's no European football. It's effectively a game a week where he can really push forward his ideas to his players. And Dom mentioned it there. They seem to be buying into it. Is there an opportunity here for them maybe to sneak in to the top 4, maybe top 5 if
Absolutely.
5th place gets it?
100%, yeah. I think, as you say, not being in Europe is helping United, certainly helping Amorim. I think, yeah, there's a lot of inconsistent teams in the Premier League at the moment. And, yeah, I've spoken to a couple of people, United fans, in the last week that were saying about potentially winning the league. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think the tongue might have been in cheek there.
No, it wasn't. No, it really wasn't. But look, yeah, top 4 definitely at the moment.
Okay.
And you know, just simply because there are a lot of sort of 6 out of 10 teams in the Premier League at the moment, and teams that could go on, you know, win 4, lose 4, which we might see United do again. But on current form, it looks as though they're getting some proper consistency back. So I think they'll be all right, and they'll definitely get into Europe, whether it's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
And Carl, one of those key players that we touched on it when we were off there is someone everybody seems to be talking about with regard to United's supposed resurgence just now, Matheus Cunha.
Yeah. Got a goal last week against Brighton. Seems to have the makings of a future cult hero. One thing that's become quite notable about him is, even though he's got the artistry you might expect from a Brazilian attacking player, he also blends it with a little bit of shenanigans and defensive moxie, shall we say. One thing really, really important, but not just last week against Brighton, but also really evident to this yesterday against Wolves, is his ball carrying and his ability to hold onto the ball and wriggle through tight spaces and just keep the ball moving in a way that perhaps 2 or 3 United attackers in previous seasons would have lost the ball and maybe given away a foul. He is exceptional at winning fouls within his own half. So there were 2 or 3 times in this game. Douglas Luiz went off with what I think was a hamstring injury, and Ryan Yates came on. Ryan Yates, who is one of the more rugged and robust central midfielders, shall we say, tried to challenge Cunha 2 or 3 times, and Cunha, recognising that momentum might go to Nottingham Forest this way, manoeuvred his body in such a way to make sure free kicks went to United's way and slowed the flow of the game down and made sure United were keeping in mild control of the game. So Cunha seems to be someone who will be printed on a lot of Manchester United shirts towards the end of this season, and definitely at the start of next season as well.
Yeah, certainly will. Time for a quick break now, and still to come, we'll be